Rizzlers.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, yes. Pop a donut in there if you can see and hear us good. Today we are doing a love stream.
That sounds like the name of a gangster.
What? Rizzler?
Papa Donut.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna pop a donut in your...
Papa Donut.
We're gonna be popping donuts, talking about loves, exes, Riz. It's the Valentine's stream. What do you think?
Is it fun or therapy?
Both. It's fun therapy.
They're a fun.
Yeah.
They're a flu.
But before we start, and while we're waiting for people to pile in, let's make a commercial.
Okay.
So apparently Hollywood has caught on to our secret.
Jamie's secret.
Y'all know he looks so delicious and young, and why is that?
Thank
Because of our tallow cream that we make. And actually, this is a recipe I got from the lovely
Hippies.
Jessica Haggard
Oh.
from Primal Edge Health.
I thought it was going to be somebody good, but...
Well, she's
Just kidding.
She's the recipe that I actually follow to make this.
Oh.
And there have been a bunch of TikToks going around like, why does Lindsay Lohan look so young? Why does Selma Hayek look so young at 58? Mm-hmm. Why does all these people aging in reverse like Benjamin Button? Even Paris Hilton says, I'm Benjamin Button, right? Because of tallow, and you can find this on our website for sale.
I thought she really was.
I think she really is. She doesn't look a day over, what, 20?
No, I mean like she literally was playing Benjamin Button in the movie.
Yes. I make this in small batches, and why would you order from me if you could just make your own tallow cream? The answer is it is a pain in the butt to make. It's very messy. It's hard to clean up. It's loud. It's a task. So if you love me and want to support me, then go order some cream. And if you hate me and want me to suffer, then you can also order some cream.
It's loud, so it's still fussing. Jamie, why you make me?
Yeah.
It's still fussing.
Yes. So whether you love me or hate me, it doesn't matter. Get this for yourself, and you will age in reverse like the great Jay Dyer. I actually slug him down every night, head to toe, in this.
With a pet slug.
Yeah.
That runs all over me, covered in that.
Yeah. With this and snail mucin, you will never age a day.
She actually does put snail on her face, and I'm like, I thought she was joking. She's being serious.
Well, that's from...
It's a real lady product.
Yeah, snail mucin. It helps repair the barrier on your skin that gets washed away by harsh soaps and things in the water. So, get your elixir of youth. This month, I've been using frankincense essential oil because that is really soothing on inflamed skin. So, if you order this time, you're going to get frankincense. So,
and frankincense is the cousin of Papa Donut.
Frank in
period sense.
Yes. And if you absolutely hate my guts, order a bunch, because then I'll be slaving away over buckets of tallow. Right? We got a super chat already. That's fun. Atomic Arson. $12.99 for a mixed dozen of donuts at the donut shop by my house, plus the 30% YouTube gonna skim off the top. Thank you for 16 donuts.
Remember when they were giving out donuts for stabbies?
Oh, yeah, get your Krispy Kreme if you get your stabby, of course. So before we get into this book, what?
I'm Jamie's celebrity guest, so I didn't really know exactly what we're talking about today. It's just she said it's going to be about love, so this is all kind of fresh to me.
The love
I didn't even read this.
stream.
She said, "Look at what's on the front page." I didn't even read it.
And you've been on a lot of dates, which I haven't been on a lot of dates, but I've known a lot of people. I just have not ever.
Well, you're actually blessed
dated.
because overall it's kind of waste. But you learn things.
Yeah, I mean, I've had 3 relationships, and those all came from friendship to relationships. So I've never actually been on a first date, so to speak.
Well, you did it the right way.
Yeah. Okay. But Jay's been in the trenches. He's been fighting the fight, and we're going to go through this funny coloring book looking at archetypes of the people that you might come across.
Now, did somebody send you that, or did you
No,
find that?
I just saw it at Walmart, and I thought it would make a funny show.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah. Before we get to that, I have a confession to you. Oh no, don't be mad. But I actually also have made a baby with the world's richest man. Okay.
14 of them?
And here it is.
This is the one I was suckling on my video.
And he needs...
So you mean I was cucked into suckling some other man's ET baby?
Yes, this is our science experiment made from CRISPR gene technology.
I wasn't suckling him. I was being cuckolded. I
Yes.
was cuckling him.
And we made him for you, and you're the only one as a man who can breastfeed our science experiment. So
Thank you.
Have fun with baby ET.
If you guys saw that, I did suckle this entity.
Yeah.
5 years ago, 4 years ago. It's a favorite video of some. But.
Yeah. So he is our lovely star child.
Yeah.
You see, you're such a good dad.
He just peeked up Reese's Pieces. Get it?
Oh, yes.
He peeked up Reese's Pieces. Nobody gets it. Nobody's seen ET. Can we put him over here?
Here.
Where did you get
careful.
that thing anyway? Why do you even have that?
He was given to me as my co-pilot by my very good friend Will Cooper.
Okay.
And he said, always take ET with you. So he's actually been living in the trunk for about 15 years.
He's the junk in the trunk.
And ET was my co-pilot during Uber days.
Oh, I remember that.
And now he's yours to nurse and love.
Given to you by Bradley Cooper?
No, Elmo. The world's richest Muppet. And
Given
me.
to you by who?
Oh, Will Cooper, my
I
friend.
said Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Cradley Booper. So, what's up, guys? What's everyone saying? They're crying, laughing. It's really funny.
No.
They are.
They're crying.
They're crying for E.T.
They're just weeping.
Let's get into the very... Oh, okay, so here's something I made for y'all. Because everybody is always getting their panties in a bunch about how men and women treat each other. And I thought this would be a good kind of tutorial for how to be universally attractive. Let's put it that way, right? So I made this spectrum. And it goes...
For all you spurgs
right
on the spectrum.
From ugly to beautiful. And so what in our worldview is the best thing you can be?
All the attributes of 1 Corinthians 13 about love.
Humble.
True humility, not
Right.
false humility.
Right. And what is the ugliest thing that you could be?
Prideful.
Exactly. So I kind of made a list of all of the things that make people unattractive and have problems in relationships, because I was thinking about this and I was like, I've never met a truly humble person that has trouble making friends and getting into relationships. And that's usually something that goes along with intense pride and pre-lust and stuff like that. And so I put, would you agree with this list? Like, what makes people ugly, in my opinion, is being smug. I cannot stand, I want to punch somebody in the face when they're being smug. What do you think?
I mean, when I think of smug, I think of, who's that fat moral majority Liberty University preacher from the 90s? The famous fat preacher. He was super famous. Somebody in the chat will know.
Yeah.
Who do you think is smug?
I don't want to name names. I just can't stand smugness.
Who's somebody that we would both agree is universally smug?
Joel Osteen? Smuggy, smarmy. I can't stand arrogance. I can't stand condescending. And this is all the stuff, if you're on a first date, you're not saying, oh, I really hope they're angry and materialistic and interrogating me and just super hyped up on their own holiness. I hope they're really judgmental and unforgiving, vain and harsh. Like, all of these things are going to make you unattractive, whether you're a man or a woman, right?
Mm-hmm. So if I'm the definition of smug, then how did Jamie... Yes, Jerry Falwell's who I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Do you think I'm smug? You know me really well.
No, not really.
Not really.
I think you can be harsh sometimes.
But that's not what smug is
no.
like. I'm better than you.
Yes. Smug, condescending, contemptuous. And another huge stumbling block I feel like that gets in the way of people enjoying their lives is being envious and entitled.
Yeah, we talked about that last night for young guys that are envious of people that are doing better, or actually anybody obviously can be envious, but a lot of young guys that are envious use that as they use the complaining as a cloak for envy.
Mm-hmm. And I learned very early on that you can be the prettiest girl in the room with the cutest boyfriend and the best outfit, but if you have envy, you're still not going to be having fun. And it's just going to ruin everything. So that is something that you need to pull out by the root and replace that with gratitude, or nothing is ever going to be good enough for you.
Well, some people think that masculinity is smug. And so, in other words, being confident, standing up for your position, opposing evil, opposing what's wrong, exposing lies and deception. That's not smug. That's not self-righteous. That's just being a man. That's what you're supposed to do.
Well, yeah, standing on business is not necessarily condescending or smug.
Standing on business?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Just having principles and standing behind them, right?
Is that a TikTok term?
Yes.
A Gen Z term?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Welcome, Gen Zs.
Let's
We're
use the
standing
adult
on
terms,
business.
even though I used Riz last night.
So, all of these qualities are going to make you an unattractive person. They're going to make you a bad spouse and a bad parent, no matter how much money you have, or whatever else you got going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the flip side, so humility, all of these things are going to make you attractive to everyone. And let's kind of reframe this in a way that... What?
I know a better example.
What?
Pastor Steven Anderson.
Uh-huh.
Who beat his kids and screams and loses his temper. That guy is the most smug, arrogant person ever.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know him. I don't know those guys. So, a lot of people will be like, well, what would make me more attractive to the most amount of men? Or what would make me more sexy to more women? And I'm trying to say, let's reframe this in what is attractive to God, and then that will fall into place naturally. People will be attracted. I mean, Christ had crowds of people following him at all times after his ministry began, right? He was attractive. He drew people to him. So if we are trying to be like Christ, we're going to be naturally attracting people. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a little different than the domain of guys, girls, though. But we're talking about what is universally attractive.
Yeah,
so, yes.
The whole package, right?
So you're saying that what women and men should have.
Yeah, so let's not worry about impressing the opposite sex more than we care about impressing God. And by that, we will naturally be impressive to everyone.
Well, for example, a lot of the manosphere people do not have humility, and they think humility is weakness.
Mm-hmm.
And so their version of what is manly is all performative, it's all externals, and a lot of it's things that are actually feminine qualities, like, do you have a Bugatti? Do you have all these designer brands? Like, that's external trappings. There's nothing wrong with a nice car or a nice brand or whatever, but the point is that that's not what masculinity is. It's not a bunch of, designer brands and whatever the trappings are, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the inner qualities in mental toughness to be a man.
Yeah. And it's not unmasculine to exhibit the qualities of kindness, patience, meekness, empathy.
I think a Sigma has all those.
Yes, exactly. And I was reading the Beatitudes. So this is qualities that of the blessed people, right? They're poor in spirit, they mourn, they're meek, they hunger for righteousness, they have mercy, they're peacemakers, they're pure in heart, and, they're persecuted for righteousness' sake. Mm-hmm. What do you think? And going along with the year of love, I looked up 1 Corinthians 13, and I was surprised that it actually lists many things that love does not do, along with the things that
Right.
it does. So love is patient, love is kind, but then it goes into this whole list of it is not envious, you know, it is not puffed up, it's not look for itself, things like that. So it has both positive and negative qualities of love. Right?
Did you have them written down? Is that all, or did you write them all down?
No, we could look it up if you want to.
It's okay. I mean,
Yeah.
I think most people know.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians
13 is
13.
well known.
Right. So, and then I wanted to say, what in your words is love even?
I mean, I was just going to list 1 Corinthians 13.
Oh, okay.
I mean, those terms I think that Paul uses are good descriptions. But you'll notice it doesn't say nice, and it doesn't say anything about you never debate. I mean, in Acts 17, Paul debates daily with the Jews and with the Gentiles to try to convince them of his position. So a lot of people mistake humility and love with what? What are you laughing at?
Someone says, "What is love?" with the music, and then
What is love, baby?
don't hurt me. Don't
For a
hurt
lot of
me.
people,
No.
love and niceness is a cloak for cowardice. Or because they feel insecure because they don't debate or whatever. They think that, well, I need to tear that dude down because I don't do that and I don't have that skill. For example, the guy on Twitter yesterday that was saying that he's too spiritual for debating and spiritual people don't do that. And it's like, well, so you're more spiritual than Jesus and the apostles. It's just kind of childish. And it betrays an insecurity in the person. But love is pretty common sense, I think. It's not niceness. In fact, if I love a person, I will talk to them and stop them. I'll give them tough words if they're doing something that's hurtful or damaging to themselves. So, for example, remember that we watched a show where there was a morbidly obese guy years ago. And the mother was the enabler who was always feeding him and getting him anything he wanted, the worst foods. And when the doctor asked the mother, why are you doing this? Oh, well, I just love him and I don't want to deny him because I care about him. Well, no, you're enabling him. You're participating in that. So people think that and use false humility as a cloak for their vices and for their cowardice. That's something that's very common.
Well, love is not just simply being permissive of everything. Love has boundaries, like you said, that keep people safe, right? And so if I were to say in my own words, love is a demonstration of a specific set of behaviors over time. Now, I know that's not very romantic, but I think for me, that's what love is. And I even put in over time because actions can be a lie. You know, that's why we tell our kids don't take candy from stranger, stuff like that, because you can be love bombed by somebody who has bad intentions because they are acting
Like a cult.
in a loving way and doing all of these things, but the motivation behind that is a lie. So love can only be identified over time through consistent patterns of behaviors, and those behaviors come from, like we said, 1 Corinthians 13.
But it's not a bunch of actions and works, and it's has to first and foremost be interior. You have to actually have the attribute and the desire of love. That's what produces all the actions, because all the actions can always be fake or done for the wrong purposes. So that's why Jesus says, like, it has to actually come from the heart. It can't just be a bunch of externals. That's what the Pharisees did. The Pharisees did all the externals, but they hated God on the inside.
That's a good point.
So in the same way, like, you have to actually have the grace of love. You can't manufacture it or cause it. God has to actually change your heart.
That's a really good point.
Or you can't love people.
Yeah.
You will only selfishly love and hate yourself unless you repent and you get the grace of love.
We got a super chat. What is it? H. Brassy 999 for the espressos and ginger chews. Also, Jamie, please pressure Jay into putting the Cringecore album together ASAP. I think so. I think you're as funny as like Lonely Island or those kind of comedy singers.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't
They're
you
funny.
think? Yeah. We probably will. We're trying to pivot away from certain things and get into some more lighthearted content. So in that attitude, let's go through this book and we can all talk about our exes. So if you have a funny X-file that you want to share with
An
us.
X-file, that's fine.
Yeah. Or if you have a shout out to your honey, go ahead and put it up there. Like, remember those...
My ex was Leech Man. X-Files.
Remember those, like, radio stations where you call in and be like...
WW Love.
Yeah.
Or, this is 105 Point Love.
This goes out to my boyfriend, Steve. Right? And it's like Michael Bolton.
Okay.
What is love?
Okay,
Lady,
Mom.
don't
Okay,
hurt
Mom.
me.
Mom core.
Moms know love. Moms have unconditional love. Like, built into their biology.
I think love is conditional and unconditional in one sense. It's both.
Yeah.
You can't have totally unconditional love. It's not possible. God doesn't have totally unconditional love. There's conditions for the relationship, just like a marriage has conditions for the relationship.
For sure. So have you ever dated a stage 5 clinger? What is that?
Can they see it?
Can you see that stage 5 clinger?
You need to come over here.
I can't read the comments. Hopefully.
See if they can see that. You have to hold it up close because it's too...
Okay. Stage 5 clinger.
So this is a joke coloring book that Jamie thought was funny.
Yeah, with a lot of archetypes of funny people that you would come across on your dating journey.
This looks like a hippie, like a metaphysics bookstore chick
So
in this picture.
the stage 5 clinger, it says, adds you on every social media she can find. Have you ever been stalked?
Mm-hmm.
You have?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What happened? Actually,
let's skip that.
some girls get mad at me too for over you.
Mm-hmm.
And they have sent me ugly messages and called me very ugly things.
Let's not talk about them because they're kind of crazy.
Okay.
So.
So yeah, stage 5 clinger. This is somebody. Oh, I got a super chat. $2. Shout out to Tom Coombe, the only truly humble one. What is Tom Coombe's love song?
What is Tom? Baby, don't coom me. But so you haven't had a whole lot of dates, so you didn't really deal with the clinger person, right?
No, but I have had my share of, like love letters left on my car and
okay. Interesting.
guys crying and crashing out and getting tattoos because I won't date them and joining the military.
Tattoos.
Yeah. So, lots of tears.
Stage 5 cringe.
Yeah, rejection tears.
Category 5 cringe.
What would your advice be to a stage 5 clinger to not be so Klingon?
I think everybody, whether guy or girl, finds that extremely unattractive.
Yes.
So even guys who might be a little more tolerant or wink at a girl being overly clingy,
Yeah.
it's still, if it's going over some line, it's too far, and it's just your own worst enemy. So you have to be able to have some degree of being able to be alone, apart, okay with yourself. Because if you are overly clingy and obsessed with a person, number one, that's a type of idolatry, and two, it suggests an imbalance in you and further problems down the line. Mm-hmm. It's a major red flag. We
were talking about this in the car, and I was explaining to him about the Celestine Prophecies. Remember that?
I've never read it. I know.
Yeah, so it's a goofy, new agey alien type book, but he did have some really interesting insights into the human psyche. And so the premise of the Celestine Prophecies is that people have lost the knowledge and ability to gain energy from what they call source. In our worldview, that would be God, and having a relationship with Christ fills your cup, basically. But instead, people go around trying to get their cup filled from other people.
That's
so
just idolatry.
Yeah. So imagine yourself with a outlet like the plug, walking around, and you just plug it into this person, and you draw their energy, and then you yank it out of them without giving anything back, and then you go and plug it into the next person. You're clinging on, you're plugging in, you're draining their life force because you don't know how to get it from the source or from God, right? And this makes you a clinger. It makes you a energy vampire. It makes you somebody
Makes you toxic. You're a toxic person.
Nobody wants to be around somebody who draws all of the energy out of the room. And they have made the perfect character in that show, What We Do in the Shadows. Colin Wilson, he's the energy vampire. He's the archetype of the guy who just won't stop talking at you until you're basically like falling asleep and dying. So yeah, don't be an energy vampire. Learn how to have fun on your own, and don't wait for the relationship to start, the baby to come, the money to come before you think you can start to be happy. So if you're not happy already as a single person, you're not going to be happy as a married person.
A degree of happy, because I think everybody who's single who wants a mate is going to feel some degree of something missing. So, but I think the most satisfied and confident that you can be, this is a little bit easier for guys, I think, then the better off you are, because you're not looking for your fulfillment in a human being, because human being can never fulfill you.
Right. Good point. Super chat $4.99 H Brossi. It's genuinely hilarious how Jamie uses brain rot lingo effortlessly and unironically. I'm 24 and even I don't say crash out. Well, I've been watching y'all, and I'm trying to empathize with your
I think she shouldn't
situation.
do it. I'm against it.
I think, what's it called? Slang is funny, but I don't have to use it all the time. Bays Lit, what's up? Welcome, Bays Lit and Catherine 999. Shouts out to Jay and Jamie 2025, the year of love. Thanks for coming.
Word.
Appreciate having you here. What's next? Finance bros. Have you ever dated any finance bros?
In my Michael Bolton phase.
The finance bro. There's
No, I've never dated a man.
a cringecore song going around, 6'5" in finance, Blue Eyes. Remember that? Have you heard that? Yeah. So he says he is in love with his stock portfolio more than you.
Well, this would apply to you, because I don't date men.
I just think a finance bro would have a lot of the qualities on the pride side of the spectrum that I made. Smugness, materialism. Not that there's anything wrong with making money or being a finance bro or anything in the financial sector. It's, it's not sinful. It just feels like that personality I don't think would mesh well with my personality. What do you think?
I'm trying to think of the finance bros I've known and met. Yeah, I think they're probably pretty stale, pretty one-dimensional. I think the last time we interacted with a straight-up finance bro was Robert Taylor, that we had debates with like 5 or 6 years ago. And, I liked the guy. He was kind of a fun, nice guy, but he was super atheist, so...
Looking for a man in finance. 6 foot. Blue eyes. Ooh, the emoji guy.
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Apparently it's unattractive to use too many emojis while texting.
Oh, I said that last night. Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I said it's a girly thing to do for a guy to reply with a bunch of emojis. I mean, a little bit here and there if you're in a hurry, like a thumbs up. But, like, doing the whole, like, line of weird, it's just bizarre.
Some people just shoot themselves in the foot by texting anyways. By the way they text and the way they feel entitled to things like your time, and just don't ever, if you're texting someone, don't like do that. Where have you been? Double texting.
Never do
and
that.
How come you don't answer me? And what is wrong with you?
Please
it's
send Bob and Vagin.
Yes, instant turn off, straight to jail. Right. We don't want to see your eggplant water emojis. Okay, what else? The outdoor bro. Okay. Peak elevation, peak disappointment. So here,
That's funny.
here's your outdoor bro. He would rather sleep in the woods, right? Spend hours and hours outside. That's not really.
I was gonna say you would probably
Our
get
style.
along better with the outdoor bro than the Wall Street bro, except that you don't like camping. So
I do not want to sleep outside. I'm sorry. I slept in a tent too many times.
I mean, yeah, I went
Yeah.
camping like 5 times as a teenager. That was enough.
I need walls. As soon as the sun goes down, I want 4 walls and plumbing. So I love the woods and I love nature. We can go hiking as long as it's daylight out, and you know. But when it starts to get dark, that's when the ghoulies come out and the haints and the boo.
You don't want to be on missing 411.
No, and all of the ow and like.
Sasquatch.
Well, do you
Yeti.
remember?
Somebody wrote me a long comment yesterday saying that I'm totally wrong on Yetis. And there's a vast amount of extensive evidence, including the Sasquatch wars of the 1800s. I was like, okay, dude. I'm a believer now.
Well, Bigfoot is making a big comeback. I see billboards.
No, this is not a comeback. This is like his coming out.
Oh, okay.
He's everywhere. Like, he was never as big as he is now.
Do you remember that guy, the bear guy, who would like go live with bears? Mm-hmm. And for the whole
They got
summer.
eaten.
Yes, literally. And he would take his girlfriend out there and they would live amongst the bears like they were a couple of bears. And I was reading this article.
The guy that doesn't sound straight at all, and then he has a girlfriend.
And it says, girlfriend of 7 years perishes with her boyfriend who's the like bear freak.
Right.
And the scariest thing about that whole story was the girlfriend of 7 years. Like, heck no. No, I'm serious. I feel like getting eaten by bears is more like wifey duties than girlfriend duties. If he's not going to put a ring on it, I'm not going to get eaten by a bear for you. So,
Does that mean that because we're married, you would be eaten by a bear? For me?
Potentially. There's a chance. So, outdoor bro, don't drag her out there to get eaten by bears. What else? Mr. CrossFit. Pulling up in your DMs. Oh, he even has the bro tattoos, like we were talking about.
Is this,
Mr. CrossFit.
yeah, you see
and Gym Bro.
You see a lot of these kind of gym bros on... Do people even do CrossFit still? It's more like a gym bro. Like, these kind of dudes all over Instagram. And I think that when it gets into, like, super buff Arnold Schwarzenegger type stuff, that's kind of like dudes doing it for other dudes. Something's getting weird.
Yeah, and they've got that little banana hammock, and they're all oiled up, and all of their muscles are glistening. I feel like that's for men. Anyway.
So it's got little Skittles up in here.
Any gym bro that has that tribal tattoo on his arm, right? Like,
Does that still exist? I don't even know. This guy's got a son. That's funny.
well, this tattoo is like, if you see a guy with that tattoo but around his belly button, he is definitely promiscuous. Let's put it that way.
I'm gonna get this a tattoo of this guy on my belly button.
With the tattoo around his belly button, around your belly. Okay. Mr. CrossFit. And people are arguing a lot about gym attire and gym etiquette. What do you think about that?
Everybody just wants to argue about everything. People are arguing over whether a guy should buy a girl dinner on a date, and I'm like, why is this even a big deal? Like, if you're that miserly over a meal, like, maybe you're not in a position to get a woman. Like, if you can't afford to take a girl out on a meal.
I honestly think some of these problems will be solved if they just had segregated gyms.
But, I mean, not every business owner can do that.
I know.
But, I mean, it's not a bad idea.
By
the way, girls don't have to dress provocatively to go to the gym and then bitch about it. You saw that fiasco, right?
I've seen them making content for OF at the gym.
But then some of them complain that guys are ogling them and disturbing them when they're, like, showing their butt everywhere.
Yeah.
On purpose.
I know. That's what I was saying. Let's have separate but equal gyms. I don't have a problem at the gym because I just wear regular
You dress momcore at the gym.
Okay.
I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying, like, you dress momcore at the gym. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Like, going to the gym is not a stylish affair. It's like you're going to work out. It's not... I'm not there to show off and, like... be the center of it. I'm there to just do the workout and get out of there.
Yeah.
What is this, bro?
Gyms are a psyop, somebody said.
Gyms are a psyop.
The mirror selfie. Ooh, look at this guy. He loves his mirror selfies.
That's kind of a feminist, femmy thing too. When guys are effeminate and like all super
Metro.
Exactly. Foppish, metro. They have all the like hair care, facial, beard oil products of like, it's like the equivalent of a woman but a dude.
Yeah. If a guy sent me a mirror selfie, I would just laugh probably.
I actually post mirror selfies because I think they're funny. And then people are like, why are you doing like a mirror selfie like it's 2008? I'm like, because it's 2008 mirror selfie on purpose.
Mirror selfie, bro. He loves himself and no one else. So this is a red flag for some kind of, cluster B type narcissism. Always looking in the mirror. I know people that if there's a mirror around, they will look at and talk at the mirror instead of talking to the group or to you. It's that bad. It's really weird. And they're constantly just checking themselves out.
Narcissus. The myth.
Narcissus, yeah.
No, the myth where he's looking in the mirror.
Yeah. He is cute, though. What else? Mr. Rogers. Always in your neighborhood.
This is like a stalker joke, I guess. I don't get this one.
He's
or
just
is
always
this
around.
Is this like a soft soy man that's just kind of a beta orbiter? What does this mean?
I guess he's
just
like under the umbrella of like a stalker, yeah. Like a weird lurker.
A weird neighborhood beta orbiter.
He be lurking all the time,
Okay.
trying to run into you instead of just introducing himself, right?
Okay.
The Guess Who girls.
What does that mean?
Group photos galore, but which one is she? Oh, like, so she's always posting...
yes.
group?
This I do remember. I have experienced this. I had a period of being on Tinder. And this happens on Tinder sometimes. I don't know what it's like now, but where there are girls that will post multiple pictures of multiple groups and you don't know which one you're talking to.
Yeah. Or like the pictures from 10 years ago.
So this happened.
20 pounds ago.
I met a girl on Tinder a long time ago, and we were going to go out on a date, and she had to drive about 45 minutes to meet me. And when she showed up in the parking lot and got out, she was about 50 pounds fatter than the picture. And as soon as I got out of my car, stood up, and I saw her. And as soon as I saw her, I got right back in my car and drove off.
Immediately
drove off. So
man.
that's a fun Tinder story.
Poor lady. Well, I mean, for guys and girls, it's like, if you can unfat yourself, you need to do that because
Well, yeah.
that's universally unattractive. I'm sorry. What else we got? The fisherman.
Outdoors,
More
woodsman.
Ready to hook, line, and sink her into despair. Fish. So I think
a lot of these types of guys or these people, like, they just kind of live these things.
Yeah.
And the problem with this kind of guy is, like, he's always going to be out in the woods. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I grew up enjoying fishing, and I didn't really get into hunting. Mm-hmm. But all my family are hunting, fishing dudes. And
there's nothing wrong with having sports hobbies.
No, but I'm saying, like, a lot of these people, like, these things dominate their lives.
Yeah, if you're out fishing all weekend and leaving your wife with the kids alone at home for days at a time.
And all these guys drink all these, like, shitty American beers that are full of, like, estrogen. And
have you heard that Patrice O'Neill joke about fish and marriage? It's kind of messed up.
I've heard a lot of his jokes. I don't remember.
He says guys date like they go fishing and your wife is just the one that flopped back on the boat and wouldn't leave. But they want to continue fishing because they like fishing, which means they like dating and they like taking pictures with a new girl and like showing off the fish, and then you release it.
That's funny.
And you don't ever want to take it home and marry it, but your wife is the one that just like wouldn't leave you alone. That was terrible.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's a joke. Why is it? Comedians make jokes.
Do you know any hat girls? We're from Nashville, so we know.
Oh yeah, I've been on a lot of girl dates with hat girls.
Hat girl.
So this kind of overlaps with like festival chicks, but like half the girls in Nashville, at least for a long time, had this look. And Yeah, I'd say I went on probably 5 hat girl dates.
Really?
Yeah.
It says, why do they all wear the same dang hat? My hat is my
Because
personality.
Nashville trends, I mean.
Yeah. What else? The astrologist girl.
Yep, I've been out with many of those.
She's like, oh, you're a Capricorn? We can't do this. No way. I'm a Cancer and you're a Capricorn.
Yeah.
That's the mother and the father of the zodiac.
I think that these kinds of gals are usually a little off because their life is guided by things that are not rational. Mm-hmm. And so there's going to be a lot of red flags is what I'm trying to say with these kinds of
There's going to be a lot of
these are single moms.
unspoken things that you can't control that she's going to be like, oh, that's because your moon is in Pisces. And
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying beyond the astrology stuff, I get what you're saying, but like usually this suggests a type of girl that isn't going to have a lot of red flags.
It says she reads your birth chart before she even considers cocktails. Yeah. So I'm not dating any Cancer men, that's for sure. If y'all have any funny X stories, go ahead and put them in the super chat and we'll read them. If you have any crazy tales or comments, go ahead and drop those in. We'll read them. The ghoster. Have you been ghosted?
I think every guy who dates will experience being ghosted. Absolutely. Yeah.
The ghoster.
I mean, a lot of that happens, for example, from Tinder. I mean, in-person dates and people you meet too. I would say probably the majority do ghost you of people that you meet. And so out of that, let's say you get 10 girls' phone numbers in a span of like, I don't know, 6 months. Mm-hmm. I would say probably 7 or 8 will probably not reply. And then 1 or 2 will be a date.
Says at least you have some time to yourself.
I said 6 months. Maybe that's a little more. It depends on how active you are. Like if you were actually trying to date people consistently, then it would probably be higher than that. But a lot of I think the way girls work with this kind of stuff is they like Tinder and they like internet because it's a way to filter out easy red flags, and they don't have to go through the process of meeting and seeing the person in person. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that's ideal, but that's why they do it. Mm-hmm. So they can easily see, okay, he is driving this car, he doesn't have a very good job. He's got this, that means he's a kid, that means he's got an ex, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like they can easily filter out, and girls can figure out pretty quick from not a whole lot of texting whether or not you're somebody that is worth their time. And a lot of times girls will shit test and see, like, does he text me like right away? Does he text me again saying, why aren't you answering? Those are filters for girls.
Mm-hmm. And it's a lot of investment on both sides to go on a date. Men with financially and women with time, makeup, care. Like she spends the whole day preparing for a date. That's a lot of time. Someone just recognized my shirt and you win the donut for the day. Yes, I am wearing the Princess Diana. Oh, VH Sarah. Jamie is in the Princess Diana sweater. I am. So you get all of the donuts because you recognized my fashion.
She literally wore that?
Just one exactly like that. Yeah.
Obviously not that very thing,
yeah.
But I'm saying she wore the same pattern?
Yeah.
With a black sheep?
Yeah. The sequel, Return of the Nice Guy. So here's the guy that... Why do you think guys go away and come back? Like, why would you be dating someone and then he loses interest and as soon as you forget about him and then he's back and being like, what's up?
But I don't understand why it's Return of the Nice Guy if he ghosted the girl. That doesn't make any sense. Why would he be the nice guy? It sounds like he's a player. So what do you mean?
Okay.
I don't understand.
Well, it's not necessarily the same guy.
Huh? You just said the same guy comes back.
Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in. So the sequel. This is the sequel guy.
Sequel to what?
To the relationship you had before.
With the same guy?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Why would he be the nice guy? I don't get it.
Oh, I don't know. They're just making funny Star Wars jokes. So how come?
How is this the nice guy? It just makes no sense. The nice guy is not going to be the guy who is playing you. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's also Guy Strikes Back. I don't know. I didn't write it, so I'm just asking, why do you think there would be a sequel to the relationship?
I think it's just common amongst human beings to sometimes have difficulties and break up and get back together. A lot of relationships have that happen. It's pretty common. I don't think there's it's not like some cosmic, unique, wild thing when a couple breaks up and gets back together.
Mm-hmm. What about the Swiftie?
When I was dating, she was not near as big as she was.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think I would have been interested in somebody obsessed with a pop star. I mean, that's kind of immature.
Yeah.
So, no, I've never dated I remember one time I went on a date with a girl to a Beck concert, and she got so drunk that she just passed out. And we had to, call her friend to come pick her up because she was out cold.
Dang.
On the bench, out cold. So...
She's the problem. It's her.
She was a Nashville hat girl, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
So twofer. Mm-hmm. Swiftie hat girl. I like the little kitties.
She wasn't a Swiftie, though. She was at least a Beck fan.
I like the kitties with the hearts in their eyes. Yeah,
but she was an artsy kind of I'm in Nashville art school. And if she was too drunk to even hang out with, I was no, this is not fun.
What about the influencer?
I went on a date with I think I've told this story before, an Asian tiger woman, and she was like this. This is one of the funniest favorites of the stories that I tell. She's the one who, first of all, when we met, she talked about all of her accomplishments and the fact that she was running a hedge fund. And she had a super nice car, right? I don't know what she made, but I'm sure she made millions of dollars. And after the second date, she said, okay, if you'd like to have a third date, and she was being serious. She's like, I'm going to need you to go and get your medical report and everything checked out and have it sent to my doctor.
Whoa. Yeah. Blood test and...
Everything.
Everything?
She's like, I want to know that you don't have any STDs, you don't have AIDS, you don't have this, that.
Whoa, dude. Sperm count.
She was this, but an Asian chick.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's pretty obvious. On the narcissist spectrum, if she's always wanting to be photographed, if everything that you do is posted online for views, it's you have to share them with everybody, and that's not fun, right? You don't want to share all of your moments with the entire world.
Well, this kind of girl is living this other life on Instagram, and then you're a side character in her story. Mm-hmm. It's no, that's not going to work.
Or you're the cameraman.
Right? Yeah, and I thought that was kind of psycho. I've been on a lot of dates. Nobody's ever asked for a medical report, official mail.
Certified mail?
To the doctor, from doctor to doctor.
Whoa, dude.
Because she wouldn't believe it if it wasn't certified mail from doctor to doctor. Because I would fake, I gotta go to a forger to get. I'm you're not that awesome. I'm sorry. You're kind of cute and you're smart, but that's it. See ya.
What about the Bachelorette wannabe? So I guess this is somebody who's too eager to be married.
Oh, this Asian girl too. She would draw charts and all of these lists. She had spreadsheets for guys. She had QuickBooks for guys that she was dating and exes.
Whoa, dude! With all their stats, yep. His weight, height.
And the pros and the cons.
Bodily
or all the the things he did wrong, the red flags.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is some autistic dating.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
But I was this chick is wild.
Have you ever come across the girl who wants to get married already?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Many of those.
She's in it for the wrong reasons, it says. The Bachelorette.
Well, this is desperation, right? It's this signifies, it's just not an attractive quality to be immediately wanting to, how would you want to marry me when you just met me? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same with a guy-girl situation, right? Anything desperation, is totally unattractive to both sexes.
Yeah, if it's too soon, it's too soon. Like, you were talking on the stream last night about that story I told you about, the first date guy who was like, we need to plan out our entire life.
To discuss whether you're willing to have 14 kids.
Yeah.
On the first date. Like, I don't know you yet. Like, that's crazy.
I know. Okay. How about the mayor? You're just the next lyric in his song. So John Mayer, oh yeah, the guy who just likes to do things to collect women.
These guys are like long hair guitar bro dudes are usually players.
Yeah.
So I have seen a lot of these dudes over the years. Yes. And the thing with these types of players is like they'll sleep around and then they'll finally get in a relationship and they'll be in a relationship for like 3, 4, 5 years and maybe have a kid. Mm-hmm. And they absolutely hate each other. But they have a kid, and then they move on to the next one, and they do the same cycle, have a kid, and then they hate each other. But they have a kid they have to share. I can think of multiple Nashville dudes that are just like this.
Oh, totally. And, yeah, what's that saying? If a guy writes you a sonnet, he loves you. If he writes 100 sonnets, he loves sonnets.
Well, these dudes are actually, like, super narcissists. They're not... If they write a song about you, it's not because they're actually into you.
Right.
It's because... They're trying to impress the next chick.
Yeah, exactly. What's a John Mayer song?
Your body is wonderland. I've never liked John Mayer.
Body is wonderland.
I want to run through the halls of my high school.
The Musk fanboy. Ooh. My thoughts on the future of everything.
So this is like a techie, nerdy kind of dude?
Yeah. Well, you can't say anything bad about E.T. Baby Daddy that we created in a lab.
Well, I said I had a baby with Elon Musk too, and I want my USAID money.
Mrs. Fill in the blank, ready to commit to any last name she can. So this is another desperate.
Desperate woman, yeah.
Marry anybody.
A lot of the single moms fit in this category of like they're ready to find a man to be the daddy and to lock in to be that role.
And look at all her vacuum spatula with
she's trying to
spoon.
signify that, oh, look, I'm the 50s trad wife.
This is patriarchana.
I'm the 50s trad wife. Will you raise this other guy's kid, please?
Yeah. But this is the performative traditional lifestyle that we are seeing being exposed on Twitter this week.
Mm-hmm. And Jamie and I were both talking for multiple weeks. I've been saying for many, many weeks, maybe months, that I think a lot of the profiles out there are fake. And they're just wholesale made up. Turns out they are.
Mm-hmm. What about the coach? Always looking to add to his roster.
This is a sports bro, right? Just like a super sports bro.
Uh-huh. The coach. Yeah.
I think girls tend to like this kind of guy because they're a little bit of a jock. They're better than the nerd. But eventually, these guys are boring because girls just don't like sports that much. What do you think? On in general. I mean, women can enjoy sports, but dudes that make sports their life, I think, are boring people. And that's why a lot of women get bored with the men that they're with, because their life is work, beer, and sports.
I think if you are into these things and you can manage to find a girl who will accept it and even come to games sometimes and support you that way, then you are very lucky, because that is not interesting to most women. Mm-hmm. Right? So if she comes to your games, you gotta keep her. The Royal. Looking for a loyal subject to wait on him hand and foot. So here is...
Dude's a king.
Wait, was Kang's?
He's a king.
Entitled.
Most of these kind of guys, though, are not deserving what they expect. That's the funny part.
That is really true. Did you see Candace's new book called Make Him a Sandwich?
You make me sandwiches, but you treat me well.
Well, I will never make you a sandwich because you hate bread, but I'll make you whatever you like.
You make those keto wrap versions of it, so same difference.
I think if you can't get your lady to want to do nice things for you, then you're doing it all wrong. If you have to bark and order her around and be a tyrannical reigner, not that you are.
I am.
That's not love, and that's not even a fun relationship for anybody.
Well, that sounds like the Steven Anderson story.
Yeah.
That's why this documentary is coming out.
And do you know why I like to do nice things for you?
Why?
Because everything I do is met with gratitude. And
everything I do it for you.
Because you're grateful, and you're like, babe, this is the best food I've ever had. You're the best cook.
Well, you
I
are
love
the best
your
cook,
outfit.
though, so you're good at that.
Yeah, but everything is like praises, loves, kisses, hugs. You're so pretty. I love your clothes. Like, thank you for doing this. I appreciate you. And that is what makes people want to do things for you, not make me a sandwich, right?
Yeah, if you're having to bark orders at people, then you haven't successfully MK Ultra'd your wife.
Yes, he's operant conditioned me in the proper way.
In the right way.
By love and affection and gratitude.
I just know all the trigger words. So
Yeah.
if you start giving me guff, I just say the trigger codes.
If you say you like
Hershey's chocolate, and then she switches to altar.
like that person that recognized my shirt, if you see me in my clothes, then you have seen my soul, because I like the clothes. The self-employed CEO. I'm hearing no benefits. So
This is us.
look, he's a
What do you
podcast
mean?
guy.
This is us.
Oh, podcast bro.
Is that me? Or is that Tim Pool? He's got a beanie on.
It is Temple. That's funny.
That's me, man. Why is he the self-employed CEO?
He's just like a podcast guy.
Well, this sounds like a perfect man. How could you be any better than this guy?
Well, the thing about working for yourself is if you don't want a 9 to 5, you're going to work 24/7. And you have to realize that you'll never be off the clock if you're your own boss, right? So, I don't think all of the things in this book are super bad. It's just funny. It's a tongue-in-cheek way.
It's a funny comic. Coloring book. But I think the self-employed CEO is supposed to be satirizing a guy that doesn't actually have a job, but he's at home in his apartment doing a podcast, and that's his business.
Yes.
But he doesn't have he's not actually successful. It's
He's
supposed to
going
be
his
the
own
joke.
way, and now he's on the grind. And he's finding validation in his work because he can't find it in relationships.
So he's a podcaster, but not successful.
Right.
What is this creature?
The jet setter.
What does that mean?
Tell me more about that semester abroad 10 years ago. Yeah, so people who like to travel, you're going to come across that. If you don't like to travel, then they're going to be going without you. Right? And it's funny because...
There's like women that are obsessed with traveling or something. She's got baguettes.
She's got baguettes and wine glasses. And
She's an
stands.
eat, pray, love. She in her eat, pray, love phase.
And if you're not careful, you can fall into the pride category with your jet setting because you're always like, oh, I just got back from Rome. I forgot how the light switches here work in America.
And then
right?
these people just want like an Instagram sort of facade.
Yeah.
As if that's their lifestyle. Which...
And they try to work into every conversation how they just like stepped off the plane from Greece or something like that.
Yeah. Women who I think chose a decade of travel over becoming a mom or a wife. A lot of interviews with those women, they regret that time. They wish that they had done things that are more substantial. Because, I mean, what's more long-lasting? A man and a child or some memory about France?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just not really safe anymore for women to travel.
Well, that's true. I mean, now France and England are like Muslim, so like...
So you mentioned Eat, Pray, Love, and she had gone to India.
Good luck with that.
Please don't go to India
Eat,
as a single woman.
Eat, pray, grope.
Yeah. Eat, pray, grape. if you're going to India.
Paul Joseph Watson put up a picture of a woman visiting another country, and she got culturally enriched because they were all groping her.
Oh, man. That's terrible.
Well, why are you being a racist? That's cultural diversity.
You have been enriched. The circus performer, balancing partners like it's his job. So he's spinning plates. He's got his rosters.
So the thing with spinning plates is if you're a single guy and you're trying to do that, it's very time consuming, it's very exhausting, it's emotionally draining, and it costs a lot of money. Mm-hmm. So if you're a single guy, you're probably, and you're, if you look decent and you have money and you have good charisma, riz, you might be in a situation where you have multiple options, and it might feel good for a while, but it also gets kind of old and gets kind of draining.
Mm-hmm. And I feel bad for the people in this mix who are just like sincere and actually wanting
And by the way, a lot of women spin plates.
Mm-hmm. So people who have a big roster can't always be honest with everybody because not everybody is trying to be in some kind of weird polycule open relationship type. So you're going to have to do a lot of deceiving to nice people if you're wanting to spin a lot of plates. So how about the philosophy grad? Oh no! It's literally you.
I'm the podcast CEO and the philosophy guy.
He's in the Book of Horrors.
And what is his strategy? What's he up to?
What a creative way to say unemployed with student debt.
Oh,
Ooh.
That was me in my 20s, baby.
So, he reads Aristotle, Nietzsche, Rousseau, and Descartes. He thinks that he knows he smokes a pipe with the hearts coming out.
I actually did that. That was kind of me.
See that? He's got like...
Yeah, that was single. That was single me, yeah.
And you had that hat too, and the bookshelf. Oh my gosh,
it's me,
you.
Dude. They put me in this damn book. Look at that. Except I didn't wear glasses back then. I did. There is a video with me with a pipe, but I did it for like one video because it sucked.
I think the thing with philosophy people is their mind is in another sphere. It's not down here with us. You could be very intelligent, but you don't get a lot of but you don't get a lot of social cues, and you can have the...
Well, my university, nobody in the philosophy department looked good. So This wasn't a problem. There was no good-looking threats. I take that back. I had the one girl that was in one philosophy class I went on a date with.
How was that? Not great.
We didn't have anything in common.
We talked...
Even though we were in philosophy class, she was just taking it. She wasn't really into it, so...
We talked about Plato on one of our first dates, remember?
Mm-mm.
You taught me all about Plato.
But we had already been talking.
Yeah.
So this might sound like it's violating my rules for guys from last night because I said don't talk about theology and philosophy and conspiracies on a first date. But Jamie and I already knew each other, so we had chatted for a long time.
And I was asking you and genuinely curious.
Yeah, if she asked you questions, then yeah.
Well, that's the thing. When they talk about mansplaining, there's a difference between mansplaining and actually. Because as a girl, if you like a guy, the best way to get to know him is to ask him to teach you something. And he'll automatically be flattered. He'll want to spend time with you. You'll be learning something, and he'll feel invested in you. Right?
Well, we talked about this last night, and one of the best ways, if you're like a dude and you're going out on a date and you're nervous and you're not used to a lot of social interaction or whatever, one of the best things for you to do, and women love this, is ask them questions and just let them talk. Mm-hmm. That's the guy version of what you're talking about.
Yeah, so... If you are very smart and philosophical minded, just make sure you try not to have a lot of contempt for the peasants. The novelist.
Well, the thing with the philosophy guy is that he has to learn to be fun.
Good point.
And not a stick in the mud and not a know-it-all.
Yeah.
And there was a phase where I was kind of that way. Mm. And, go ahead. What's this?
The novelist?
A girl who's interested in her novel.
Uh-huh. Like Jane Austen or...
I went on a date one time with a girl like this from Nashville, and she was actually traditional Catholic. She was like this, and I thought we would have things in common. But she had some really weird hang-ups, like oh, I'd never go to any public restaurant. So sometimes these weirdo people, like, they'll have these weird hang-ups, like, that are just odd, like, or this kind of person doesn't drive. Oh, I'm not going to get my license. I don't drive. It's like, well, how are you going to go on a date? I will get my mom or my dad to bring me. And you're like, in your 30s? That's weird. I'm serious.
That is weird.
Or mid-20s.
Yeah.
So no, I've met people like this.
The kid.
I had a friend, by the way, who got divorced after being married for a couple years. They had a child, and she seemed like okay. She's kind of more on the nerdy novelist side, and she refused to ever get a driver's license, even though, like, he had work to do. Like, he had to go to a job. They had a child. He needed her to do things, and she absolutely refused. She had a severe fear of driving a car, like, around town. And then her other stipulation was that her mom, who was this really annoying harpy, had to move in with them.
Whoa.
That ended the marriage in 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
So that some of these women that are maybe more homely or raised in a traditional religious environment or traditional Catholic environment or this kind of stuff, a lot of those people have weird hang-ups that are the girl version of guy red flags.
Do you know what I realized we were talking about is not everybody is fit or entitled to a partner or spouse or husband or wife.
That's why monasticism existed throughout history.
And not everybody is even ready for that kind of responsibility. We were watching the show, and this crazy guy was like, "Doesn't everybody deserve someone?" And it's like, answer is no. No, you don't. There's criteria that you have to meet.
You're not entitled to anything in this world.
Yeah.
Like, you have to actually do something that makes you worthy of that.
Yeah.
What's this woman?
The cable news addict. I guess today it would be the scrolling addict. iPad face can't get out of the box, right?
Yeah, like in the 2000s, like, there were girls that were addicted to reality shows and the Kardashians, right? In the 80s and 90s, it's soap operas, right? Moms are into soaps or stupid reality shows. But yeah, any kind of like addiction to just really trash culture is a huge hang-up red flag.
Well, this is kind of specific to us. It says, I know you fear the collapse of society as we know it, but can we please just eat the cookies in peace? So it's like, yeah, sometimes you have to just give it a rest. If you're at Thanksgiving, you're not, like, supposed to be stirring up a bunch of crap about politics and the world is ending and I'm right and you're wrong. And
yeah, but this is a person addicted to media.
Right. So, yeah, and when you're addicted to media, you feel like everything is like an emergency. Right.
No. Well, addicted to the media that we consume, not cable news addict. I thought it was cable addict.
Yeah.
No, this is like boomers that are like stuck watching the news all day. like,
yeah.
Get a super chat.
But for today's people, it would be like, yes, we know things are really bad, but you have to be able to disengage from that and enjoy the life that's right in front of you for now. Don't you think? No.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that internet media does is make you concerned about things that are most likely 95% of the time not going to affect your life. So you're concerned with the drama of who Elon slept with and what babies are happening. Like, none of that's affecting our lives.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I got a super chat. Nico Pluto 1999. Thank you very much. That was very sweet of you. Yeah, too much X makes your personality crappy. Okay. The Networker. LinkedIn is not a dating app. Full stop. So
I actually had an idea for a skit about how, like, somebody trying to maximize LinkedIn because nobody uses LinkedIn. It's like a joke now. People make fun of LinkedIn. So
I had a joke about what if my soulmate tried to get in touch with me on LinkedIn and I deleted it because I hate that. Haha.
I was thinking about a guy trying to do game on LinkedIn. It'd be funny.
I've never even gone there, and you still get messages like so-and-so's looking for you on LinkedIn. I turned it off like a year ago, yeah. It's a waste. Mr. Too Much Too Soon. What do you think? He's already proposing.
This is the guy version of the desperate chick.
Yeah. And
Yeah, this is so unattractive and weird and desperate.
he's already looking for babies. Like, he's got a stork and a house. Yeah, so somebody posted a guy with flowers and says, don't ever bring a girl flowers on a date. And it's like, okay, not the, like, very first date, maybe. You do these kind of grand gestures after you're in a relationship. She wants the flowers at an appropriate time. She doesn't want to be love bombed. That's not, it makes you seem insincere.
Yeah, also you should get to know the person first if you're a guy and get a good read on the person. Mm-hmm. Because some girls might not even want you to bring her flowers. She might think it's cringe. So you need to know, like, read this person.
Yeah. Says, no talking about children on the first date. Thanks. Yeah. He's already got names picked out, and it's weird.
I'll give an example. When I was in high school, there was a certain girl at one point that I had a crush on, and I got the idea that I would take her a rose on Valentine's Day.
Well, that's sweet.
No.
Oh.
It didn't work. I misread the situation.
Oh, no.
I thought that I had enough popularity in Riz in high school as, like, wittiest guy. I thought I could do this and I would get away with it. It bombed. She wasn't interested.
Single rose on Valentine's Day?
Now, years later, when I had a better situation going on, she was actually interested. Oh. I wasn't interested in her. But what I'm saying is that I misread the situation, and it was not the right play to, out of the blue, just take her a rose on Valentine's Day. Now, it's not a huge deal that I got turned down, and later on she was interested in me. But it shows that, like, you have to read the situation right. You can't just assume some sort of, like, 50s style of every guy should bring a girl a rose and on the first date or to ask her out.
But some girls would love that.
But I didn't read it right.
Yeah.
I should have assessed her better to realize she's not the kind of chick that's got... Because she was more of, like, a alternative hippie type of chick. Mm-hmm. And the traditional move of... It just didn't work. It wasn't the right move.
Should have brought her a marijuana flower. No.
Like, if I really wanted to take her out, I probably should have said, I got tickets to Bonnaroo.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, AB, $4.99. Jay and Jamie, on a regular night, how long do you sit down and talk for? Is it surface level or philosophy deep level conversations most days?
It depends on how much work we've done. If we both did a lot of work, or if I did a lot of live streams, we do not have super deep conversations every night. But we do a lot have really deep, fun, funny conversations, don't we?
Yeah, we're together almost all the time because we both work from here. I go out and do errands for several hours a day, and that's like the alone time we get. But a lot of time we're just like working next to each other, and we work very late into the night together. A lot of our discussions happen when we're driving somewhere.
Yeah, we talk all the time.
Yeah. Somebody asked us, what was our first date like?
She came to to Nashville because she lived in a different city, and I remember we went to Bricktops in Nashville, which is a pretty nice sort of steakhouse place, and we just had a good time sitting there and talking about jokes that we've been making to each other. It was a nice, fun first date.
You kissed me the moment you saw me.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yes.
Well, we had been talking a lot on the internet, so we were...
Yes. He walked right up, and I put my hand out to shake his hand, and he went
just...
right for the kiss, and I was like, okay, this is nice. I like it.
See, now in that case, I read the situation right. It was appropriate.
Yes. Because we'd already been flirting and talking and texting and stuff, so he went for it right
This
away.
wasn't like I didn't know Jamie, and I said, come meet me, and we'll go on a date, and then I immediately kissed her. That would be the wrong move.
No.
Don't do that.
But we were immediately holding hands, hugging, sitting on the same side of the booth at the restaurant. It was really sweet.
And we had been... How long have we been talking before we had a date?
Several months.
A few months,
like, at least, maybe it's 5 or 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Harry Lugwood, $20. Thank you so much, Harry, from Canada. I appreciate that. Should we keep going?
Is there another one?
Yeah, Mr. Beer is a hobby. I know you love this guy.
No, I've already made fun of IPA bros. They even made it into this.
Beer is not your personality. It's a fun pastime. It's not necessarily a hobby. It can be like a pastime, but you get a lot of estrogen from beer. Yeah, it even says,
you get bitch tits.
So sorry, drinking isn't a personality.
You get bitch tits.
I do, let me say, I respect the art of, and the craftsmanship of, the small brews, and this tastes different, or it's made with this, or, it's like any other food or beverage. You hate beer, but I don't.
I mean, it's just, I've met a lot of these people. I've met these dudes. I mean, I have one friend that's a good friend that's a quality beer crafter guy.
Yeah.
The rest of them are not quality.
I appreciate artisanal expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
How about the time traveler?
What is this?
I see your freshman year photos, but what do you look like now?
Yeah. This is a lot of single moms love to do this. A lot of like Gen X and boomer women will put their photos up of when they were like 18. It's like, it's a glamour shot. We know that that's not your present day.
Oh yeah.
Picture. Like,
and I think
nobody does glamour shots.
A lot of guys are guilty of this too. Like, they've taken a picture of an old picture and put it up, like their yearbook photo or something. Goldilocks. Nothing is ever just right.
Was that a dig at me for putting my yearbook photos up on?
No, you're not trying to catfish with your 16-year-old yearbook photo. So, how about Goldilocks? Nothing is ever just right. So here's
is that
some
a guy
people.
Or a girl?
That's a girl.
It looks like a Greek Adonis.
These are the people that start out with, what do you bring to the table? And
what did it say?
Nothing is ever just right. For men and women, nobody likes to be treated like an ATM or some kind of utility. And for people like that, nothing is ever going to be good enough.
Well, it's weird to have a conversation about what do you bring to the table when the purpose of getting to know somebody is to assess whether this person brings the adequate things to the table.
Right. And nothing will ever be good enough for somebody who leads with that attitude.
One time I will say that before I met you, I was talking to a person for a month. Mm-hmm. And she waited a month right when we were about to have our first in-person date. We've been talking long distance on Skype. Mm-hmm. And we were about to have an in-person date. And it was like, oh yeah, by the way, my son is with me.
Oops.
She never told me she had a kid. And she did that on purpose, and I saw that as deceptive because it's like obviously I was eventually going to know, and don't you think I would know that you purposefully didn't tell me that you had a kid? So then I started thinking, well, what else did you not tell me?
Yeah.
So we never had a date.
What do you think?
Don't you think that's a...
Yeah, that's deceptive. And a lot of people want to choose somebody who they can mold or make into something else, and women are guilty of this a lot. Like, they pick a project man and like, I can build him up into something that I like. And it just kind of puts so much pressure on the other person, because you can't change and rehaul your entire personality to suit someone else so that they'll love you. That's not love. That's just exhausting,
I mean, women love to think I'm going to take this bad boy and reform him or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know why they want to do that. I mean, I understand the attraction to the bad boy or the person that you can't control or whatever, but it's kind of a fool's errand if you're looking for a relationship, I think.
Brazil, $9.99. Jamie just revealed the greatest dire lore in history. Jay just walked right up to who he doesn't even know will be his wife and just immediately kisses her, and it works.
It's after we'd been talking for months, so
I liked it.
Well, see, I read that situation, right?
Yes. The Vulture, circling the party for the richest guy she can find. Ooh, she's the man-eater. She's the man-eater.
That's a gold digger. That's the Kanye song.
She'll only come out at night.
Gold digger. Kanye.
Lean and hungry type.
Gold digger. Kanye,
yep.
Not Hall & Oates.
How does that go? I ain't saying she a gold digger,
mm-hmm.
but she ain't messing with no broke.
Beep. Beep. With
She's
no
a
broke
man-eater.
zigger.
This is, your cluster B women on OF trolling for $.
What is a cluster B person?
Like a narcissist, sociopath, psychopath. She'll only come out at night. How about the lawyer? She's always putting you on trial. That's another thing. If you can't trust him and they're always guilty, then just move on, man. Why would you even stay with somebody who you don't trust?
I've dated at least 2 lawyers, maybe 3.
Wow. What are they like?
The first one, who you've seen the picture of, she was the one that looks like Mia Sara from the 80s. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. From Legend. Mm-hmm. She was a lawyer, and she ended up, I was dating her in college when she was preparing for law school. Mm-hmm. And she was fun, and we got along. There was 2 or 3 things I didn't like about her. She was really into beer. I was already not caring about beer. Uh-huh. And my concern was that chicks that are into beer get fat.
Yeah.
And she did. Uh-huh. She also, when she was dating me, kind of had this dude that was her ex that was always still kind of around. Mm. I didn't really care for that. And she wasn't really into religion at all. She was raised like Episcopal. What are you laughing at?
Someone says, who have Jay not dated is a fair question at this point.
Like there's certain types of people like I haven't dated. I don't think I've ever dated any rave festival type girls.
Oh, okay. Aisha the cool girl, hey, what's up?
But the other lawyer girl, it was just one date that we went on, and it just, like, I think girls that are really accomplished in that way, they assume that, or they expect that guys are going to be really into their accomplishments. Mm-hmm. And guys don't really care that you're a lawyer.
Not that impressive. Mm-hmm. What else? The knight in shining armor. No one was in distress until he showed up. So here's all the guys make fun of the white knight all the time. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I think this is like the key failure archetype for nice guys. They assume that they're gonna. It's like the guy version of the girl who wants to fix a bad boy. Mm-hmm. This is the white knight guy who wants to come in and help every distressed woman or whatever. And what these guys don't understand is that, number one, it's not attractive because you haven't earned any respect in her eyes yet. And so if you're showing up as a white knight, you just look weak and you look like a simp and you look like you're going to be easily used. Mm.
No, I was never a ravey festival person. I was more of like a farmer hippie type, right? I have been to music festivals. I mean,
Jamie's not a techno rave chick.
No, not really. MAV, $5. Has Jay ever dated a hairdresser?
Not that I can recall.
No. Is that like a archetypal personality?
Is it a joke?
Like, what is it like to date a hairdresser? I don't know. I want a hairdresser.
I mean, that's kind of a feminine job.
Yeah.
I think a lot of guys might find that more attractive in terms of jobs than some CEO chick or like, boss babe. Like, guys just don't really care about that. We're not really like that Asian girl that I went on like 3 dates with, right? The Tiger Finance girl. Mm-hmm. Tiger Lily Finance Incorporated. She just, I guess she was surprised that I wasn't really impressed with all of her hedge fund stuff. It's like, that's not gonna, what's that? I mean, so we'll have money, I guess, but even in that situation, you're making way more money than me, so it's already gonna be weird.
Guys don't like that. They don't like to be...
Well, it's just weird. It's a weird dynamic because then the guy kind of feels like he's on the hook, and then she's making all the shots. She's calling the shots. So It's a weird dynamic. It's not impossible. It's possible that you could have a guy who doesn't have money with a girl who has money. It's just probably rare.
Yeah.
But yeah, white knighting is just kind of pitiful.
Oh, look, I found him.
Who's this?
The energy vampire. Sucking your will to live one date at a time. Yes. This is the guy who Like, I can't tell you how many girls I've seen complaining that they went on a date and they said he talked at me for 3 hours and didn't ask me one question about myself.
Well, that was the opposite of my strategy, which is to ask her questions and let her talk.
Well, that's why you're good at dating. But yeah, do not pick up a guitar and look them straight in the eye and sing 3 original songs in a row and, like, they're your captive audience and they can't go anywhere. Like, that's just sucking all the life out of a girl. What other things do you think suck energy out of people?
Well, like in the Blue Valentine, when Ryan Gosling shows up and starts singing songs to her, he's more of a white knight in that scenario than a energy vampire. And then she ends up kind of being the vampire who saps all his life. But I mean, he enables it. It's his fault.
Oh, here's another example of what we were talking about. The boomerang. Why do you keep coming back? I just think this is kind of... I know normal couples go through breakups and get back together and stuff, but if somebody's continually breaking up and, like, disappearing for months at a time and then coming back...
That's red flag signs.
Yeah. So fights and, like, separations is one thing, but, like, breaking up, going your own way, and then, like, swinging back around in 3 months and trying to pick it up, I think that's pretty toxic. What do you think?
Could be a sign, but I know many relationships who had phases of breaking up and then they end up together. So,
So you just have to case by case and not try and not make this a habit to do to people, because I think a lot of people just are trying to get whatever experiences they can, and they don't really care how it affects other people.
Or maybe just people are having a hard time figuring out whether that's the right person to spend their life with or not.
Yeah. If they're even marriage-minded at all. The sun. My life doesn't, in fact, revolve around you. So, this is kind of another example of the king. Yeah. He thinks everything revolves around him. He definitely wants you to make him a sandwich. The fortune teller. Here's another astrology girl.
By the way, Jamie always makes me sandwiches. I don't even have to, I don't have to bark in order because you always make really good meals.
I know, because you're grateful and sweet about it. Yeah. And sexy too. So, how do you say no? The fortune teller has a vision for your future together before you even tell her your last name.
This is like the Instagram, yoga, esoteric chick.
Yeah.
I went on a few dates with, mystical esoteric chicks. They're usually kind of crazy.
Well, I used to be a mystical esoteric chick, and then I converted.
You're the one that, I kind of vibed with.
Mm-hmm.
But you weren't like a crystal, you weren't doing psychic readings and shit like that. That's crazy.
So we're almost...
Miss Cleo.
Call me now.
You're my Miss Cleo.
Call me now. We're getting towards the end of the book, so if you want to do a shout out to your sweetheart on here, or any other funny comments or super chats, feel free to drop them there in the YouTube. And we are on the figment of your imagination.
What is that?
But you know what? They're great. Just like an imaginary person, I guess. And this is a trap that I think a lot of girls fall into. So they'll meet a guy that they like, and they'll fill in all the gaps of his personality with her fantasy, and they'll make up, a straw man that they actually love. And instead of loving the person or seeing the qualities, maybe he doesn't like you that much and he's not that into you, but you've already built up all of this stuff in your head, and you're just going to break your own heart.
Yeah, this is just sort of liking what you want to be the case and not what is the case.
Yeah.
And filtering out the evidence that goes contrary to that thesis.
I think if you're wondering if a guy likes you or not, he probably doesn't, because they make it very apparent when it's true. What do you think?
It depends on the stage of the relationship or the dating. If it's early, he might just be playing it cool so as to not put all his cards down.
I think if a guy likes you, he's going to want to impress you. And so when people are being not generous on dates or trying to go on walking dates or stuff like that, that's kind of a red flag, because I think if a guy really wants to invest in a woman, he's going to want to like do things that make him seem impressive.
One thing I've noticed about complaints from people I've known directly and relationships have failed is that a lot of the men are like miserly and cheapo, and they don't ever want to have any fun. They don't spend any money on anything fun, and that is a huge drain on relationships.
Definitely. Siege 199, yay! Jay and Jamie, heart, fire, fire. Thank you. Hearts and fire back at ya.
Thanks, dog.
The Sculptor, shaping you to fit his life. Yeah, that's what we were kind of talking about. Trying to make somebody out of something they're not, and just hurting your own feelings. Right?
Well, I think it's more normal for a guy to have an influence on a woman, and for her to fit into his plan of the world and the job and all that, rather than the guy fitting into, like, you and I's relationship and dynamic is a lot better because I lead this situation, I lead our business, I lead all this stuff, versus like if I had been with that Asian tiger lily chick, like she would have been leading, she had all the money, she had all the cards in her hand, like it would have been a disaster. So it's better for the guy to be in a guy situation.
And
would you respect a man if you made all the money, and even if he was nice and cool or whatever? Like if he didn't demonstrate strength, leadership, success,
no,
it would be difficult.
Yeah. Then you start wondering, well, what do you actually do around here?
Well, the media tries to push like guys being the moms.
Yeah.
And like you see this in commercials where the dads are like tending the babies and cooking the food, and then the boss babe mom comes home in commercials. That's crazy. There's no way that's going to last.
The Jane Austen, looking for her Darcy, but the thing is, she's no Elizabeth.
This is the classic not gauging who you are, right? Like this is like the fat dude in his mom's basement talking about how he expects a 9 to make him a sandwich. All right, but he lives in his mom's basement.
Yeah.
Fat gamer dudes that smell like butt. Or the like that is his name Kevin Samuels, that black guy. He used to show the clips of the black women where he would interview them, and he'd be like, "What you expect in a man? He need to be 6'6", have a 6-pack, and make $600,000." And he's like, "What do you weigh?" "I weigh 450 pounds." "How many kids you got?" 6.
Yeah.
It's like, no. So guys and girls need to have accurate assessments of themselves and not delusions.
And a lot of guys too, like, come from the pickup artist world, and then when they want to settle down, they're like, "I want a virgin." It's like, you would probably damage a virgin. Like, I don't think that's something that, it's not an equal.
Do virgins still exist? Is that a thing that exists?
That's not an equal pairing. What do you think? That's a delusional expectation, to come straight from pickup artistry and expect to marry a virgin.
Who is that?
Eris Ruditis, $10, 10 pounds. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. H. Brazi, $4.99. Have either of you ever dated other races? I'm black and 24. Never once dated another race. I'm married now, so it'll never happen.
She's only had 2 relationships, right, prior to me.
Yeah.
And
no.
White. And one time I went out with a Mexican girl, and we didn't have another date. And then one time I almost went on a date with a half black, half white girl, and then I decided that when I saw she had like a pro-gay flag, I just didn't go. on her car.
Oh.
So no, I've never dated a black girl. The closest was those two examples, and that didn't go anywhere.
What's next? The overworker. I'm not waiting for retirement to go. Oh, I'm not waiting for retirement to go on a date.
Oh
so
wait, I did
what?
date that Asian girl. So one Asian girl for 3 dates.
Where is she? So what do you
What
think
is
about
she?
the workaholics?
Well, it's just unfortunate that our culture has forced women and everyone to have to work all the time. And women feel like they are failing if they're a mom or a wife. Like they have to go be a lawyer or a CEO. And it's just hurting everybody in the long run.
I think a lot of women that go to work do it because they love their family, though, and they're trying to make the situation financially better and take some of the pressure
No, that's
off
what I'm
of their
saying.
husband.
Like they're forced into that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
So a lot of women, I think, they don't necessarily have that boss babe attitude, but they're trying to relieve some of the financial pressure off their
No,
husband.
I'm saying that society has forced people into these situations where they have to.
Yeah, exactly. It's not right that you can't have a family on one income, right?
And that's by design. That is to put us in this situation.
How about the quarterback? Cool guy, alert.
I mean, this is like high school era stuff. So
Yeah.
like
I mean, cool.
haven't interacted with
So,
quarterbacks.
This makes me think of people who are stuck in their glory days of being a quarterback, like Uncle Rico. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, I did this one time in 1986, and
Yeah.
they never done anything else.
I'm dropping legendary stuff every day, so I don't have to live in the past. I wouldn't know what that's like.
How about the Freudian slip?
What is that?
No, I don't cook like your mom, and no, I won't apologize. Oh, so this is the guy that wants a new mommy and not a wife,
Oh, yeah.
right? So he's just looking. See, this is the thing about people today. Getting in a relationship is not the way to outsource all of your unpleasant tasks that you don't want to do. Be it get a job if you're a woman, or do domestic things around the house if you're a man. You don't just get married and push that stuff on the other person, right? Because a man's not an ATM and a woman's not a scullery maid.
Well, but I think the expectation is that ideally what we can have is the man makes the money and pays the bills, and that allows the woman to not have to be in some horrible corporate environment all day long away from her husband and her kids, and then she can do the house stuff as is the norm. Don't you think?
Yeah. I think division of tasks is important.
Yeah, it's just natural.
I don't expect him to do the laundry or the dishes or the cooking. I've taken those as my domain. And I think as girls, you should reframe the time in the kitchen, because like that's where all your beauty products come from. That's where your health comes from, your nutrition, your vitality, all of that stuff. If you think of it that way, not that you're some kind of like chained to the stove slave, but you're actually creating things that make you more attractive and healthier and feel
She's
better.
an awesome cook. Yeah.
It becomes something else besides slavery. And
It's not slavery. It's like an amazing skill, and it's an action of love.
Yes.
So somehow they convince people that serving other people is somehow like demeaning and you're a slave. Everybody in some way serves other people. If dudes break in and try to grape and destroy the house and her, like, my job is to serve, to fight against that, right? That's an action of serving. It's not slavery. It's weird the way that people castigate normal human activities. And like, for her to be an amazing cook, there's nothing demeaning in that. It's ridiculous.
No. And you serve by paying the bills and making sure that things are done on time. There's so many clerical things that go on here that I don't even know about, because I'm thinking about what do we need from the grocery store or whatever. So, and that way you can also, if let's say, cooking and cleaning is your job, you also get a say in, like, I need help doing this. Like, I need a maid to come once a month, or I need some kind of support in this way. And you also give to each other, like, if I leave dishes in the sink, he's never saying, you didn't do this, or you're not good at that, or you're never criticizing my job, and I'm never criticizing your job. We just, like, try to do it together.
No, I mean, maids aren't even that expensive, so if it's like overwhelming tasks, like there's nothing wrong with a maid.
Yes, his lovely mom has got a maid for us once a month since we've been married, and it's super helpful just to come in like every month and reset everything. She helps us clean all of the bathrooms and the showers, and it's a super blessing, and it takes some of the stuff off of my plate. So Sabrina Fair, $49.99. Thank you, Sabrina. That's really sweet. Just saying hi. Thanks for the stream. Always fun to see you both together. The love stream is a little old place.
You're mixing
love?
up.
I know. So, are there any more pearls of wisdom that you can bestow upon our lovely audience? We've got the biggest live stream I've ever done. 1,200 people.
I think you've got more ladies in your audience. Mine is 90% dudes. So if the dudes didn't see last night's live stream, it's dude directed. Ladies can of course watch if they want to, but last night's stream is worth watching if you're a guy, if you want to learn to up your riz.
Well, you're the king of riz, and I love you very much, and you're super handsome and funny.
Oh, thank you.
So,
you're fun and creative and beautiful too.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming, and I hope you had a great Valentine's, and I love all of you as well, and have a great night.